Yeah. Hey, we can always go back to it. Okay, yeah. All right. Shabbat Shalom. We are back. We today are going to deviate a bit from the Torah portion. We are going to hear from, since we usually this fourth week of the month, I usually go to the penitentiary. Um, Teresa usually has her woman thing. Since everything's been disrupted, we are going to go ahead and have Elder Yawanathan do the lesson for today. Um, and we'll see what it is that the Most High put on his heart for the people. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you. And
Hallelujah. Yeah, man. Today, most I put on my heart to speak about just his will. Um, the world is going crazy right now, and people are, kind of losing their minds and going crazy because they're not, certain of what's happening. And the scriptures let us know, for the most part, what's going on, and that, like the scriptures speak of, as we just read actually in Psalms 34th chapter, we need to be seeking the Most High as our refuge. And that refuge is the book. That's the scriptures. People are going to freak out if they don't know what's going on in this book. Um, Actually, I wanted to go to Psalms, the fifth chapter. This was actually going. I didn't know you had already had an opening Psalms, which that was a good opening Psalms at 34. But I had one too, which was going to be this fifth chapter, 5:1. Yeah.
okay, Psalms 5 says, "Give ear to my words, O Yahweh, consider my meditation, attend to the voice of my cry, my sovereign and my Elohim, for unto you I pray. O Yahweh, in the morning you hear my voice. I present myself to you in the morning, and I look up. For you are not an El taking delight in wrong, nor does evil dwell with you. The boasters do not stand before your eyes. You hate all workers of wickedness. You destroy those speaking falsehood. Yahweh loathes a man of blood and deceit. But I enter your house in the greatness of your loving commitment. I bow myself toward your set apart Achal in your fear. O Yahweh, lead me in your righteousness because of those watching me. Make your way straight before my face, for there is no stability in their mouth. Their inward part is destruction. Their throat is an open burial site. They flatter with their tongue. Declare them guilty, O Elohim. Let them fall by their own counsels. Thrust them away for their many transgressions because they have rebelled against you. But let all who take refuge in you rejoice. Let them ever shout for joy because you shelter them, and let those who love you exult in you. For you bless the righteous, O Yahweh, you surround him with favor as with a shield.
Right. Um, so, a couple points I wanted to highlight in this passage here. Um, Let me see. Um, right. So, verse 3, it says, "My Oh, I'm in KJV. Hold on, let me switch over to your version real quick. My bad. Yeah, and it says, "So, oh Yahweh, in the morning you hear my voice. I present myself to you in the morning, and I look up." Now we know that there's scriptures that reference when we meditate to the Most High. We're dedicating our whole being. So from when you wake up, you should be praying, to the Most High, starting your day, praying for that protection, praying for guidance, praying for that understanding. Um, because we know that clearly the days are evil. As we walk out today, uh, we all need a shield. We all need some kind of protection in the wiles of the wickedness of this world. Because as we can see, wickedness is clearly running rampant. Um, Another point in this verse I wanted to hit was um I'll just hit the last part in verse 11 down. It says, "But let all who take refuge in you rejoice." Okay. If you're taking refuge in something, then that means that there's something going on outside. When people seek refuge, that means that it's some kind of turmoil or something that they're running from or they need shelter from. So us taking refuge in him, that that he's our protection. And you only get that from being in the spirit, by meditating in the word, by understanding what his will is. And we're going to go into a little bit of what his will is, because for anybody that don't know, when you read the scriptures, the whole understanding, you find out that the Most High controls everything. So knowing that, you need to know when he's making a move, when he's setting something up over here. You could take refuge over there. There's some things that we're going to go into. It says, "Let them shout for joy because you shelter them, and let those who love your name exult in you." It says, "For you bless the righteous, O Yahweh. You surround him with favor as well as a shield." So we know, just like a refuge or a shield is something that's going to guard you and protect you. If you don't got this, if you don't have this word in your spirit and acting it out, you don't have a shield. We don't got no protection. So that's why you're going to look out into the world and see those who don't have it. And then again, too, we going to kind of even it out too, because some of us, even who are doing the best we can, following these ways, you know, it ain't completely exempt, because we gotta still know that judgment happens to everybody, no matter what. We gotta know His will, but our effort and our meditation is always to be on Him. So that way, the outcome that He would have for us is the better outcome that we would want. All right. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 5, verse 14. Grab that. Ephesians 5, verse 14, which is what this lesson is based on.
Okay, Ephesians 5 and 14 says, that is why he says, "Wake up, you who sleep, and arise from the dead, and Messiah shall shine on you."
Down to 21.
Okay, see then that you walk exactly, not as unwise, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are wicked. So then do not be foolish, but understand that what the desire of Yahweh is. And do not be drunk with wine, in which is loose behavior, but be filled with the Spirit, speaking to each other in psalms and songs of praise and spiritual songs, singing and striking the strings in your heart to the Master, giving thanks always for all to Elohim the Father in the name of our Master Yeshua Messiah, subjecting yourselves to each other in the fear of Elohim.
Right. So going back up a little bit. Um, Starting back at where was he? At 14, right? Yeah, we started at 14. So wake you who are asleep, arise from the dead. This is that spirit that the Messiah said he would leave with us, that comforter, that he would not leave us, that spirit that now we can wake up and see what's going on around us, see that spiritual lacking that's lacking lacking in the world, seeing our shortcomings uh, with the Most High. Uh, the scriptures speak about how the Most High put a spirit of sleep upon us, but now since Yeshua has came, that spirit that he left was a spirit that is supposed to wake us up, allow us to see. It says the Messiah shall shine upon you. All right. It says, see then that you walk exactly, not as unwise, but as wise. So the things that the scriptures, not only do the things that the scriptures teach, are we supposed to adhere to and study and extract, but we supposed to take all these things and clearly apply them to our life. I mean, one thing that I see a lot of times or I observe is sometimes people will study the scriptures and not apply it to their life, and not and really not even know how to apply it or see it. Um, Different layers to it. It says, "And do not be drunk with wine, which is loose behavior, but be filled with the Spirit." And that wine is not talking about actual wine, even though the scriptures do say don't be a drunkard. We ain't supposed to be all the way drunk, but it's the doctrines and philosophies and things that will keep you from the Most High, from righteousness. Okay, if we are not keeping ourselves from these things that distract us, because there's plenty of distractions out here, then we should be able to walk uh, with the Most High in the Spirit and understand the things that are going on. It says, speaking to each other in psalms and songs, and spiritual songs, singing, striking the strings in your heart to the Master. That's the eternal meditation, that meditation that we spoke about in Psalms, the 5th chapter. These things that are going on in your heart. Your heart is your mind. There's things that go out on in this world, and people are putting the wrong things in their heart. They're meditating on the wrong things on their heart. The scriptures, if you ever feel worried, if you ever feel lost, open up the book. Open up the book. Giving thanks to Elohim. Wait, hold on. Did we miss a part? Go up a little bit. Um. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I think I missed the part. So verse 17. That's the part I wanted. Oh no, it's actually 16. I jumped over that. It says redeeming the time. Right. So being wise. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's it. 50. Okay, I jumped over that whole thing. It says, see then that you walk exactly, not unwise, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are wicked. So even back then, when this was written, the days were written wicked henceforth. So do not be foolish, but understand what the desire of the Most High is, which is what this lesson is called, because we need to know what his desire is. What is he putting in place? What is he allowing to happen? What is he orchestrating to happen around us in these last days. It's all for his purpose. And he puts in his book what is going to happen. We're experiencing it right now. And I kind of doing it in reverse because the reason a lot of people won't see it or don't care to see it, and it's in verse 18, is because they're drunk. They're drunk on the philosophy and the ways of this world. The ways of this world
Mhm.
will make you drunk. You will not know what's going on. You're gonna have you got people right now. You got literally this virus or whatever. This is it's people are dying, right? The virus is it's a big deal, right? And it's scaring people and all this stuff, right? And the government is taking these precautions and all this stuff, right? But the biggest thing that this is doing is destroying your way, the way of the way of life of the average American for the most part. What this virus ultimately is doing is going to change the whole economic system that we're currently in. Things are just going to be completely different, and the most guy kind of alludes to some of those things. Most High, we're going to touch on each thing so everybody have a clear sight to see that when Most High does certain things, it's for the benefit of him and his book that he lined out. Um, I think I went down. Go down to scroll down. I think it was 20 verse 21. It might be lagging on my screen a little bit. Okay. So yeah, verse 20. Giving thanks always for Elohim, the Father, in the name of the Master, Yeshua Messiah, subjecting yourselves each other in the fear of Elohim. So the biggest thing is the fear. Everybody's fearing the wrong thing. We everybody's afraid of this virus, right? When you look into it, the virus is, there's this virus is everywhere. There's viruses and bacteria all over the place that we come in contact with all the time. And if you look at the numbers, this is to put a lot of people at ease because this virus it is aggressive. It can it can do some damage, right? Because I mean it is what it is. But on average per year, especially or any infection rate, if you look up the flu virus, it outpaces the coronavirus. I mean, it's what maybe by 10, even in the same amount of time. If you look at like the infection rate over 3 months, it's like 10-fold what this coronavirus is doing. But we never go into lockdown over the flu, right? Now, granted, they do quote unquote say we had a vaccine and all this stuff, right? It's a vaccine you could take, and which is not even the strain of that year. Many people still get sick, but the Most High also gave us wisdom or knowledge in the scriptures that speak about the earth. The earth is supposed to heal us. So you got herbs and all this stuff. Anything that's put on this earth, from my perspective, anything that's put on this earth, the Most High put some herb or some counteracting thing that should be able to heal us. Unless it's his will to take you out with something in particular. You had the Black Plague, you had these different things. Because if he has a plague come upon something or somebody, then that's he ordained that. Then you're supposed to be taken out by it. All right. But this is just keeping in perspective of what his will is, because he's orchestrating all this stuff that's happening right now. Now, I want to give an example of somebody in the scripture, a character in the scripture. Let's go to Matthew chapter 16 of who didn't particularly know the will of the Most High. This is spoken of by Yeshua's going to highlight this part. Go to verse 23. I think I want 23.
Matthew 16. Matthew 16, verse 23.
23,
You
yeah.
said 23?
Yeah.
Okay. But he turned and said to Kepha, "Get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block to me, for your thoughts are not those of Elohim, but those of men."
Right. Hold on. Do I want you to go up? Let me see. Um, Let me scroll up. Yeah, go start at verse 21, please.
21. From that time, Yeshua began to show to his taught ones that it was necessary for him to go to Jerusalem and to suffer much from the elders and chief priests and scribes and be killed and to be raised again the third day. And Kepha took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, be kind to yourself, master. This shall not be to you. But he turned and said to Kepha, "Get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block to me, for your thoughts are not those of Elohim, but those of men."
Right. So that was wasn't that, that's Peter, right? Yeah, that's Kepha's Peter, right? Yeah, how you say that?
Yes.
Um, so in this example, even Peter didn't know the will of the Most High. Here was Yeshua was explaining because he had the blueprint, he has the plan, he knew what was going to happen, and he was explaining it to his top ones, his disciples, and even they couldn't accept it. And did it call him? I don't think it calls him Satan in this. Hold on, this passage, at least
Yeah,
in this
yeah.
version.
23, yeah.
Yeah, get behind me, Satan. Okay, yeah. So a lot of people would just overlook that and just keep reading like, oh, he called him Satan. Well, why would he call him Satan though? Because he's speaking against the will of the Most High. He's speaking against the will of the Father. Yeshua already was. He was telling him what was ordained, what had to happen, what he had to do, and yet he said, "Oh no, you be kind to yourself. Oh, we gonna that's not what's gonna happen." He tried to go against, or not necessarily against. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. He couldn't accept it, and that is what a lot of people, when they go through life or certain events in the world happens, they shake their head. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Like I can't believe it. But it's all written in this book. There's things that we should be looking for and things that we should be expecting, um, because we're in that spirit. We understand that the times that we're in. Matter of fact, if you can go right to Ecclesiastes chapter 1, please. This is an important thing that you have to always consider. Everybody, if you say it's these are the last days, if you understand that and you say that, then you need to understand what these last days is all about. Your mouth's gonna be open every other day, every other week. You're gonna be like, "Oh my goodness, this is the times." You can start at 1 verse 9. You can start at verse 9, please.
What has been is what shall be, and what has been done is what shall be done. And there is no new matter under the sun? Keep going.
Down to 13.
Is there a matter of which it is said, see, this is new? It was here already long ago. There is no remembrance of former ones, nor is there any remembrance of those that are to come by those who come later on. You said 13?
Hmm.
I, Kohelet, was sovereign over Israel in Jerusalem. And I set my heart to seek and search out by wisdom concerning all that has been done under the heavens. This evil task Elohim has given to the sons of man to be humbled by it.
Okay, one second. Let me see. Ecclesiastes. Okay, just going back to my King James version. Okay, going back up to verse 9. Um, here. So what has been is that which shall be. Now we coming into the time of Passover. All right, and we know Passover brings in a new year. New things generally, start to take place. And looking at the world and the rumblings and the things, and because not only you don't just got the coronavirus going on, right? You got earthquakes in, I forget what part of California. From the map that I looked at last time I checked the news, it was like central in the middle of California that I seen. They had 7 earthquakes this week. 7 in the middle of California. Um, in addition to, a portion of that state being locked down under this so-called coronavirus, because you got certain states that's dealing with this more greater than others. They got the guard and national guard and stuff like that. And the scripture said what? That we got to look for earthquakes in diverse places, among other things, uproars and rising of the people. You got over in France, they're protesting and they're supposed to be locked down and quarantined. But in France, they're in the streets. They don't care. They don't care about no. So it says, what shall be is what shall be done, and there is no new matter under the sun. Script TJV says there's no new thing under the sun. So how I perceive that, how I interpolate that is that the spirit of people and spirit of man, it's like a cyclical thing. It's like the reoccurring events and themes that take place in the scriptures. Just like if we go back into, we're going to touch on an example in Exodus, in the time of the Exodus during the time of the Passover, you had similar events that started to take place. Um, Give me, we're going to stay in Ecclesiastes. Let's go to verse, or chapter, I think it's chapter 3. No, I'm sorry, it's chapter 2. Chapter 2. No, I was right. Chapter 3. I'm sorry. I wrote this 3 crazy. Look like it too. Chapter 3, verse 1, please.
Ecclesiastes 3 and 1 says, for every matter there is an appointed time, even a time for every pursuit under the heavens. Keep going.
Yeah, go down to 8.
A time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to throw away stones, and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing, a time,
Mm-hmm.
time to refrain from embracing right now,
Exactly. Exactly. See?
a time to seek, and a time to lose, a time to keep, and a time to throw away, a time to tear, and a time to sow, a time to be silent, and a time to speak, a time to love, and a time to hate, a time for battle, and a time for peace.
Right. So, I mean, that pretty much speaks for itself. To everything, there is its own season and purpose under the heavens. So, it, it's not always time for instance, to plant, right? I mean, there's a particular time you need to plant certain plants and have your seeds in the ground and ready to go. Generally, it's this time. If you want to have your stuff planted and getting this rain, these spring rains, and being ready for either this season or even next season. Um, there's a time for different things. I'd say a time to kill, right? So somebody come in your house and threatening you and your family, most high forbid, you might have to kill them. That's
Mhm.
we all hope nothing like that happens. But if look, we gotta protect ourselves, right? And it's a time to heal. Okay, so in the times that we living in now, we gotta think in the way or the mindset of the Most High. It's a time of judgment. We are primarily in a time of judgment, and in this time of judgment, we need to be in a mindset of repentance. That's the greatest thing, that we need to be in the mindset of repentance, of knowing the will of the Father. And part of knowing that will is knowing what He would want us to do, how to be, um, um, not only towards Him, but towards each other. This is the time that we need to be in, a time to weep, time to laugh, mourn, dance. The main part, you mentioned it, a time to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. It's all in here. We don't have times for all of these things. Um, a time to get. Well, I'm in the KJV, but it says time to get, time to loose, a time to keep, and a time to cast away. Some of us need to cast away old things. We came coming out the dead season where a lot of things are dead and were dead, and now things are being made new. So we should also have a renewal of the spirit. And those old dead things, we need to leave them dead so we can get the new righteousness that comes along with the Messiah. All right. Um, verse 8, another part I wanted to accentuate: a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. Now, more so ideally, I would say this is for the Most High, because he has a time for when he pours his wrath out on the planet. You can see when he is upset with something, especially when he's orchestrating it. If he's causing mass death and illness and all this, then he's that's wrath. That's a time for war. It's a time for death, and that's one thing that we need to keep in mind as we go through these scriptures. And the times that we're in can be scary, but us having this knowledge, we shouldn't fear, because let's get Proverbs 1 and 7 real quick. Proverbs 1:7. And everybody should know this scripture. Most people's favorite book is Proverbs. So it's straight to the point.
Proverbs 1 and 7 says, "The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and discipline.
Right. So the fear, that's the key is the fear. People want to fear the things that the Most High. No, well, look. I mean, it makes sense to fear what He does, but you got to fear Him too before He does what He does to you. Because because what the Most High does is it can be scary. You know what I'm saying? That's the ultimate. That's the result. Of his anger, the things that we don't want to come upon us. But the fear, that's where the knowledge starts. And it says, well, actually, hold on. I think I like the KJV. I mean, let me pull that one back up. It said, I think wisdom was in it. No, just knowledge. Okay, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Okay, my bad. It was another one. So you can tell who is not showing knowledge by their lack of fear to the Most High, and that's doing things contrary to what the Most High Yah will want us to do, which is not His will. Now, we know that the deceiver and deceive are His, right? He orchestrates all of it. But what side are you going to be on? You going to be on that side of judgment where you get caught up in the wrong side? Everybody wants to live. Everybody wants to be healthy. All these things, right? But if you don't have the fear, the right knowledge of the Most High, you get caught out here. It says fools despise wisdom and discipline. So now we got this virus thing going on. Right now they're saying stay away from people, and you still got people going to beaches and partying and doing all this stuff and not following the guidelines set forth. Now you see those states where them people were going to the beaches and gathering and doing those stuff. Now they got a crazy uptick in being confirmed with this virus that's going on around here. They weren't wise. They didn't have no discipline. Yeah, people literally on there saying, "Oh, if I get the virus, it's not gonna stop me from partying." Oh, what's gonna stop you from partying? Most high forbid you get put to death by it though. You ain't gonna party no more. You're gonna be partying somewhere else you might not want to be at. So that I just wanted to highlight that point. We all gotta understand that the fear of the Most High. You got some people out here say, "Oh, I got a good relationship with the most with my God. I don't fear my God. I have no fear. He just just all love." And well, we just read in Ecclesiastes um that the Most High is not all about love. He says it's a time for everything under the sun. His love is shown when you show that you love him, and that requires some kind of action. You can't make up your own love for the Most High because He gonna get you. He gonna show you how He loves you. Your actions and what He allows to to happen in your life will prove the love that He got for you. We read in the earlier parts in Psalms 34 and Psalms the fifth chapter that his love, part of his love is that shield. You're not meditating on his word. You're not doing what his word say. You don't got that shield. You don't got that love to get that protection. You're gonna be gonna get caught. You're gonna get caught. Improved. So let's get some what do you call it? Some attributes, some parts of the scriptures where you know the, look, the Most High is merciful. That's what we all are praying for, is for his mercy and for his guidance to get us to the right side, get us to the other side, get us to the kingdom, get us out of here, out of these wicked ways. But we gotta keep in check and keep in balance where of his whole personality. Okay, because he has that loving, merciful side, but he got that other side too that is judgment. We don't want to be a part of that. If you can get Psalms verse 47 and 2, please.
Psalms 47 and 2 says, "For Yahweh Most High is awesome, a great sovereign over all the earth."
Right. He's awesome. He's a great sovereign over all the earth. Now, could you flip real quick to the KJV so people can actually see how that.
KJV says, "For Yahweh Most High is terrible. He is a great king over all the earth."
Right. So can we pull that Hebrew word there for terrible, please? Yare, yare. So to fear, morally revere, uh, causatively to frighten, afraid, dread, fear, reverence, tremble, or terrible. So I just wanted to highlight that point because let me if you can take that down and read it again. Um, Psalm 47 and 2, and it says, "For Yah the Most High is terrible. He is great King over the earth." Now let's go real quick. Stand in the KJV version. Let's go to Psalm 99, verse 3. This is the scriptures telling you this. He is to be feared, or else he will be terrible towards you.
Okay, Psalm 99, verse 3 said,
Hmm.
"Let them praise thy great and terrible name, for it is holy."
So what's funny about this verse is like at least how the KJV break it down. It says, "Let them praise thy great." It's great and it's terrible.
Yeah.
So this is showcasing both sides. The Most High, hey, He has that great side that we want to be on. We gotta remember that we're choosing a side here. When you out here, when you wake up, you choose a side. We're meditating on His righteousness and how we conduct ourselves according to what He's written out for us. His law, statutes, and commandments. It shows us. It's in the book. It's in there. And then when you go contrary to it, guess what? You're gonna get his terrible side. That's what we see what's happening to these people in the world that we are praying to be shielded from. That we are exercising and using our beings to be on that righteous side to be exempt from that. We're like, oh no, we don't want no parts of that. We are going to do what you say. We want to do what the Most High tells us to do. Uh, Continuing on that same theme, let's go to Nehemiah chapter 1. Nehemiah chapter 1, verse 5. And
Nehemiah,
yeah, 1 and 5.
okay, Nehemiah 1, verse 5 said, "And said, I beseech thee, O Yahweh Elohim of heaven, the great and terrible Elohim, that keeps covenant and mercy for them that love him and observe his commandments."
Right. So it's not all. Now, mind you, too, when you look up the Hebrew, we don't gotta do it. We already looked at Hebrew for that word terrible, but all of the terrible words are the same Hebrew. What do you call it? Same Hebrew word. So just anybody listening want to know but it is. Those are all the same Hebrew word as we broke down before. But uh, yeah. So there it is. Great again. Great and terrible Elohim that keepeth covenant. Now look at it. That keepeth covenant and mercy to them that love Him and observe His commandments. That's where you get your shield from. That's where we get our protection from. Remember, you're going to do contrary to what he feels or what his will is, as the lesson is called. Don't be ignorant of the will of the Most High. If you ignorant of it, you're gonna be on that terrible side. That's why Yeshua called Peter, "Get thee behind me, Satan."
They,
You didn't know the will. He wasn't aware of the will. He had to be brought along to understand what was to happen. All right, but we got the whole book now. We got the whole book to see the will now. Uh, let's go to Amos 3 and 6. I don't know if I want to do 3 and 6 or 5 and 18 first, but we'll do 3 and 6 first.
Amos 3 and 6 say, "Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and Yahweh hath not done it?"
Right. So knowing that the Most High God, He's always in control. He's always in control. He sees what's going on. He knows. Yet our goal is to not get caught up when He brings judgment on those who deserve that judgment. It says in Revelation, His people are supposed to come out of her, be set apart, be not conformed to the ways of this world. Because when he brings that judgment, you don't want to be around. If you're set apart from wickedness, then how you going to be judged with the wicked if you set apart from them? That should be our goal, all of us, as we continue to move forward throughout our lives. Make sure that we are on the right side. Um, let's go to Amos 5 and 18.
Okay, 5 and 18 says, "Woe unto you that desire the day of Yahweh. To what end is it for you? The day of Yahweh is darkness and not light."
Right. So we all want that day. We want the Messiah to come back and bring righteousness on the planet Earth. But it says, "Woe unto you to desire the day of the Most High Yah." What end is it for you? Meaning, are you sure you're on the right side?
My goodness.
You sure you ready? It says, "For the day of Yahweh is darkness and not light." We know that it has to be this system that we're in. This is a system of wickedness. It has to be brought down. All right, just like the time in Egypt. Egypt had to be brought down for him to redeem his people out of there. Did you think that the Israelites during that time wasn't afraid that when those plagues was hitting from left and right? The same is going to happen here. The same is going to be here. So we got to remember when you like, oh yeah, Judgment Day or the Day of the Lord. Well, you got to know that it's darkness. The day of Yah is not light. Before that light comes, it got to be a tearing down first. And we're in right as of right now. We in the last days. We're seeing. It's kind of grim. I pray that those of us who have lost our jobs and out of work is able to get unemployment to continue to take care of their families and do these different things. Because as I said before, this coronavirus not only is making people sick, but guess what? It's destroying economic system that everybody's used to. Everybody's used to going to the grocery store when they want, do all this stuff, and nah, this is. After this, it's never going to be the same. All right, it's just an incremental plan on the wicked side that they're implementing that we need to be aware of, cognizant of. So we know how to maneuver. And the Most High speaks of these things. So the day of the Lord is darkness and not light. Let's get some examples of how the Most High visits you. A lot of people want to be visited of the Most High. Come to me, Yahweh. Come to me, uh, Yeshua. But how does he visit you? Let's get Isaiah 29, verse 6.
Isaiah 29, verse 6. Thou shalt be visited, O Yahweh of hosts, with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire.
Right. This is some of the way. This is one of the ways that we know, at least in the last days, that the Most High Yah, that's how he's going to visit now. He done sent the prophets. He done sent his son. He done sent Yeshua. Now, as you can see, the things that's happening in the world, what was that? Yeah, flame of devouring fire. What happened to Australia a few months ago? Like a quarter of that country, I don't know, 1/5 of that country burnt up. That's a devouring fire, storm and tempest. I just seen a report that 70 million U.S. citizens are under a severe weather advisory, whether it's be from flooding, or what is it, tornado. Just this morning, 70 million. That's a lot of people. So a lot of people are gonna be losing their power, all types of things in the wake of this virus, right? A viral outbreak. Imagine the hospital losing power. This. We gotta add these things together. Sometimes you gotta add your chips together and they equal something. Did you have something? I see you in there looking.
Oh, I was looking for a specific verse in Revelation. I couldn't find it, but I did. I was thinking about Revelation 6 and 17, where it talks about the great day of his wrath is come, and who is able to? Oh wait, I'm talking and my mic was muted.
No, you was.
I was
I
looking
was.
for. I think you can hear me, but I can't be heard out my other there.
Mm-hmm.
But I was saying Revelation 6 and 17, for the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Um, you know, when you brought up the idea of thinking about Exodus and the plagues and all that stuff happening, these things were just one thing after another. You know what I mean? Just
Mm-hmm.
one thing after another. One thing happened, and then when that was done, another thing happened, and it kept on going. And you think about the idea of the wrath of the Most High that's against, the people who aren't connected to Him. He's asking a question. I mean, we know the answer. Those that's with Him, or those are the ones who escape His wrath. But when you're not, if you're not with Him, then you obviously on the other side of that, not able to stand and withstand these things. That verse in Isaiah 29:6, talking about the Most High visiting, being visited by I think that's I think that Yahweh of hosts is Yahweh of like great armies. I think that word is. I have to look it up.
Right.
But it's talking about him, him, the Most High and his holiness, bringing his holiness into unholiness. Unholiness is going to be eradicated.
Right.
And that's what you see in that Isaiah 29:6. He's coming in and he's coming with him thunder and earthquake and storm and tempest. I mean, that's it's pretty it's pretty magnanimous, if I
Right.
would say so myself. Oh my goodness.
Exactly. Let's get another example of that because the children of Israel, they were like, oh yeah, let's speak to the most. I want to speak to the Most High. We don't want to speak to you, Moses. Since we're doing in the time of Passover, let's get a little, Passover. What do you call it? Well, Exodus 20:18. Um, let's just get around that time of Passover, since we're in that time, and just give an example of what we just read there and what you just highlighted in Revelation.
Okay, Exodus 20, verse
Actually,
18.
maybe start up a verse or two just to give a little context. Okay. So, well, for the people who don't know, okay, never mind. You can go right to it. For people who don't know, Exodus 20, at least it starts out with, the famous Ten Commandments, right? So, if you don't know, Exodus, the 20th chapter, that gives the Ten Commandments, and this is verse 18 is right after Moses gives the Ten Commandments that everybody, so commonly know. So, go ahead.
Okay, verse 18 says, and all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountains smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar.
Next verse.
Let me keep reading.
Yep.
And they said unto Moses, speak thou with us, and we will hear, but let not Elohim speak with us, lest we die.
Exactly. So in Isaiah, we it just said, when the Most High visits you, that's what He brings, and this is an example of the children of Israel being right at the mountain with Moses when he was receiving them commandments, and look at how they were afraid. They thought they was going to die. It was so loud, and but Moses, he went up to the mountain. Moshe, he was up there. He didn't die, but it goes to show you that when you want to be in the presence of the Most High, it's not a light thing. It's not just a light thing that to be there. All right. I just wanted to get that example um, for people so they understand. Let's go to the Apocrypha. Um, Second Ezra, the ninth chapter. So that way, so this way, people are watching. Scriptures say, "Watch as well as pray." We stay in His spirit. We do what we supposed to do, but you need to know. We need to know how to maneuver. If we see a tidal wave coming, you might need to. If the Most I give you the foresight to see, hey, I need to go inland 30 miles because they didn't sound. There ain't no siren going off, but I see it's coming, or I know it's going to come. And like the watchmen say, you're supposed to warn the people, like it said Jeremiah. You're supposed to give warning if you see that coming. But if you ain't watching, you don't know. Some of us could be caught blindsided. So I just want to highlight some things that we need to constantly be watching for, paying attention to, so we ain't caught off guard. So we could be a watchman to each other. But go ahead.
Which verse was you on?
Uh, Start at one and go down to 5. Let's go to 5.
Okay. Second Esdras 9 verse 1. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. You said read the what verse?
I said read the five.
Uh,
Um, yeah. So yeah, let's go back up. So yeah, measuring the time diligently. Now, measuring the time, that means like to do something diligently. That means to get into it, to constantly do it. You know what I mean? To constantly to watch, to measure. And how I look at measuring the times is basically convergence points. Now we know you should know that Ezra was written before Yeshua walked the earth. At least you know that the part of the New Testament where we can go, and Yeshua himself mentioned these things. Um, Verse 2, thou shalt understand that in the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made, therefore when you shall see earthquakes and uproars of the people. Didn't Yeshua say that? That's what he said. That's what he's speaking about. So Yeshua was referencing this this time, this particular passage, or had knowledge of this passage as well. That's how you know when Mosai is visiting. His spirit is visiting this world. It says, then thou well understand that the Most High spoke of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So the Most High already knew these things were going to take place. You know what I'm saying? But the scriptures say that he does nothing unless he shows his servants and his prophets first. So if we're serving him, then he's going to show us. He's going to show us what's going to come to pass. He's going to prepare us. He's going to allow us to be able to maneuver out of the way of these perils, these things that come upon the world. Did not what was the Israelites' first act of obedience to get them out of Egypt? They had to go slaughter a lamb, put the blood over their doorposts. If they didn't do that, guess what? When that plague came through, they died. So this word requires some kind of action and some obedience, so that way we can see and know what to do when these different plagues come back on the earth. We read in Ecclesiastes that there's nothing new under the sun. So these things that are going to be experienced, and again, is nothing new. We just read the scripture. We're going to experience new plagues. These disease ain't new. People have been designed by dying from diseases all throughout humanity. The history of humanity, there's been plagues and things like that. So this ain't new. But we reading about what's going to protect us from it. Having that foresight to see it and know how to maneuver in it, so we can sustain ourselves. It says, for like all that is made in the world has a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. There gets to be a point where, especially when you see the world that's constructed, right? So say, I'm gonna give a little example. Say the financial. the financial world, the financial system. A lot of people, especially those of us who don't got a lot of money or anything like that, you know, um, in terms of investments, right? So people who generally are probably millionaires and all that stuff, they probably into the stock market, into real estate and all that stuff like that. But if you the average person, average American out here, you can you don't care about no stock market. You real estate, yeah, everybody wants to own a home or do whatever. But we don't know too much about that. So not knowing what that basically the stock market and these big corporations and businesses is what is keeping America afloat. This is what our livelihood is ultimately based on. Um, we have these big corporations and these big hitters in the financial world. They create the jobs for us. They create our livelihood. So if we don't understand what's going on with them, then something can happen with them that affects our livelihood, and we have no idea. It's just oh, I just lost my job, or um, everybody's laid off, or whatever, and you don't know that their stock plummeted 50%. So now layoffs, that affects their overall budget or whatever, and they got to lay off X amount of people. Okay, so knowing that and how this system is constructed, and we gotta remember that everything's ordained by the Most High, like how they run this banking system and all that. Most High sees it; He knows, and it gets to a point where you should, when you look at it, and those are who are in the know, and I mean them who are participating in it or are running it, they know when major changes are going to happen. You got something called insider trading. You have different things and it affects the economy. And we know that, especially here in America, this is number one consuming country on the planet. We make some things, but we're primarily a consuming nation. And that's some important things to know as pertains to prophecy and the will of the Most High. He says in Revelation that this place is it's the golden cup in his hand. This is the place where everybody can live decadently. Look, you can have every religion here. Everybody can come over here, start a business, and you can't do that with every country. This the land of milk and honey, right? But the scriptures say that this place, the sins of this place has reached unto the heavens. So we gotta understand that judgment is gonna start happening. Not even started, it is happening here right now. And we just need to position and maneuver ourselves to be ready for it, or and to be looking for it. Just have that in the back of our mind. I ain't trying to be like, a lot of people when you get into certain things like these topics, it's like, oh, this is fear mongering, it's scary. But we just read that the Most High is terrible. He has two sides. He has that merciful, loving side, right? For those that love him and do his commandments. And then he has that terrible side. But we can't be ignorant. The scriptures speak about not being ignorant of any matter, great or small. So we need to understand the things that's happening around us to maneuver, especially, for instance, maybe like heads of households and things like that, so we can be on top of it. Because he gives us a playbook. I look at the scriptures. We call them the scripts. It's a script. It's like you reading a play. It's like it's a script. Let's see what's next in the script. But it does have to be put together because sometimes things don't happen chronologically or clearly, um, as it's written out, book by book, verse by verse. Where's my next scripture? That was in on that. Um, if we can go to Jeremiah 16. Jeremiah 16, verse 14 to 21.
Okay. Jeremiah 16, verse 14 says, Therefore, behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that it shall no more be said, Yahweh lives, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But Yahweh lives that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north and from all the lands whither he have driven them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. Behold, I will send for many fishers, says Yahweh, that they shall fish them, and after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks. For mine eyes are upon all their ways, they are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from mine eyes. And first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double, because they have defiled my land, they have filled mine inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things. O Yahweh, my strength and my fortress, and my refuge in the day of affliction, the Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth and shall say, Surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. Shall a man make gods unto himself, and they are no gods? Therefore, before I will this once cause them to know, I will cause them to know mine hand and my might, and they shall know that my name is Yahweh.
Right. So going back to 14, it says, "Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, and be no more said that Yahweh brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, because Passover is coming up, and it's very interesting to me, at least, that we got these calamities and the stove being turned up during the time of Passover, because we're going to have another, the Most High, Yah, and his son, the Messiah, is going to basically have another Passover when he delivers his people from the four corners of the earth. It says, But Yahweh liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north and from all the lands whither he had driven them, and bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. Now we know that the Holy Land is over there in the Middle East, you know, over there in Israel. That's the Holy Land. And we know his people are not over there. His people are not over there. You got wickedness going on over there and throughout the whole earth. And we know his people throughout the scriptures, we know was taken into different captivities, and we were sold to different nations across the planet. So we're looking at this is a what do you call, a prophecy. This is a prophecy that we're looking forward to. It says, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. And the key point I want to highlight there, it says that he said, I will bring them again into their land. Not we're going to go back to the land. He's going to bring us to the land. Just like he brought us out of Egypt, he's going to bring us out of this land. He's going to do it. That's where he's going to demonstrate his. Did he not protect us during those plagues of old or the past? Why won't he do it again? He said there's nothing new under the sun. With the obedient Israelites that did, he said, what was instructed of them to do to get out of Egypt, what's new under the sun? We got to do and be instructed of what we're supposed to do here to be a part of this new deliverance from the land of the north and the lands, all the lands whither we were driven. It says, "Behold, I will send for many fishers." Who's them fishers? Those are of us. Those are people who uh, take the story of Yeshua. The people, the disciples was out there. Andrew and them was fishing. He said, "Come, I will make you fishers of men." That's what it's talking about. We fishing our people out of the pond of wickedness, out of the pond of that dirty water, trying to put us in that clear, righteous water. All right. And it says, "Saith Yahweh, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill, and out of the holes of the rocks." So we know this is it's a quick, clear, I guess breakdown of this would be is, for instance, those who do wickedly. You had billionaires and multi millionaires. They got bunkers. Do we got bunkers? We don't got no bunkers. Uh, they're gonna run and hide. When you look up the sinister plans behind these tech giants, Googles, Apples, and Microsofts, and the head leaders, when you look at their end game, when you look at their plan, it is it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy, and it lines up directly with the scriptures. And a part of their plans is, guess what? They got bunkers. When they bring in these heinous acts upon the world, they they see themselves hiding and letting the world burn or be destroyed, and they believe that they'll be able to just hide and wait it out and still continue to rule from the whether it's the banking families, these people who are perpetrating these things that happen on the planet, which we should know by now is orchestrated by the Most High. The Most High is using them. This is just a script. We're living out a script. But if we know what's going to happen, we ain't too shocked. We won't be too shocked or confused. So they're going to go into their bunkers, and guess what? The Most High said they're going to be hunted out, because that's what they're going to do. They're literally, when the world burns down, and even when Yeshua come back, they're going to be in their bunkers. They're going to be there. These things are miles under the ground. The nuclear bombs can go off, and they can still survive. So it had to be put in the scriptures that they were going to be dug out. They're not going to get away. These are the people who ultimately perpetrate this wickedness. A lot of these, what do you call it? Big heads of these corporations and companies, they got slave labor all across the world, from the Chinese, Indians, and Africa. In Africa, what they basically pillage that whole land of all its resources to make these electronics. They just basically take over all their land, have them, you got the blood diamonds and all this different stuff that takes place, wickedness, these things that make them rich. And the Most High sees that, and they're gonna be paid back for it. Um, it says, "For my eyes are upon all their ways." See, they think that they're not being watched. See, we see these wicked things being the injustices taking place on the planet and the earth, and it says, um, "For my eyes are upon all their ways. They are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from my eyes." So he sees them. He sees. Won't got nothing to worry about. They're gonna be taken care of. They're gonna be taken care of. Our particular goal, personal goal, is to stay on our course. Though there's nothing we can do. It's nothing we can do about them. They're gonna They're gonna be wicked. That's their purpose. That's their job. All right. Um, go down to 19. I don't necessarily need to read that. I already hit that point. Um, okay, yeah. And oh Yahweh, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction. That then shall also come unto thee the end of the earth, and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. Right, because especially now, as I said, this coronavirus is a nuclear bomb to the economic system. And that's what everybody trusts in. As long as everybody can make their dollar, everything flows right and everything's okay. But a lot of this stuff, a lot of things that's happening in this world is vanity, whether it be other gods that the people are worshiping to the idols, idols, money, things that they're putting above the Most High. And they're gonna wake up and realize, oh, this none of this stuff meant not anything. That's the time that we're in right now. You got people who look down and just think about it. This situation, I was doing the research, and businesses that aren't like big, like Walmart size, Target, businesses that aren't that big, like that's in with the government, they're going to be bankrupt after this whole situation. Now they got this government stimulus that they passed, $2.2 trillion, but when you look at the document, which is very long, but when you look at the what it is, the people are getting very little of it. And the grants that they're giving to businesses aren't it's not that much, especially for the damage that it's going to be for them being out of business for the time frame that they're projecting. It just doesn't more and as we know, the majority of the money is going to the big corporations, which are your Targets, your Walmarts, Boeing, and these super big what do you call it? What do you call it? Corporations. Not much to the people. The people get $1,200. What is that? That come on, you gotta work. You gotta work for some people. That's nothing. You live in New York, $1,200. That ain't covering nothing. Certain parts of California, that's not covering nothing. And they're just saying one time payment at the moment, but people already been out of work. Some people for 3 weeks. So it's just crazy the wickedness that we're living in and living through right now in the Most High season. That's why he's our strength and our fortress, because a lot of people, they won't have that. We're gonna see people committing suicide. Their businesses won't be able to run, and that's all they knew was money, and they never been without. And you're gonna see them get weak. They're spiritually just because they don't not gonna be fortified by this word. I think I'm done with this particular portion. Let me go a couple more scriptures. Let's get First Peter, First Peter chapter 4, verse 17.
First Peter 4:17 says, "For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of Elohim. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of Elohim?
Down to 19.
And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner that suffer according to the will of Elohim commit the keeping of their souls to him in well doing as unto a faithful creator?"
Right. So the time has come. The time of judgment. We're in that. We're gonna see who really for the Most High and His Word and who ain't. We're gonna see, who got that stronghold, that steadfastness. Because it just says if it first begin at us, he's going to begin his judgment on his people. Usually the poor suffer first. Look, the rich are out here taking care of the rich. The poor are the ones who gotta put stuff to the side and scramble just to survive. So the judgment's gonna hit us first. But it says, "What shall be the end of them that obey not the gospel of Yahweh?" That's why we need to obey it. It's a scary thing. It says, "And if the righteous scarcely," this is the key. People think we just gonna walk into the kingdom and it's just, hey, it's at the end of the day we just going it's just gonna be cool. No, it says scarcely. Could we look that up? Could we get that the breakdown for that? What was that Greek word right there? That if we scarcely be saved, and this is the righteous. The righteous is scarcely going to be saved. Molis. It says hardly, scarce, with much work, or with
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 difficult.
difficulty, with difficulty. So this is see I wanted to pull some of these scriptures for mindset purposes. It says, "Prepare your soul for um Ecclesiasticus, second chapter." It says, "Prepare your soul for temptation when you come to serve the Most High." This is a mindset thing. So when it says, "The righteous will scarcely be saved with difficulty," it's not going to be easy. All right, but this is why we need to make sure that our hearts, our spirit, our mind is on the right side, on the righteous and focused on the righteousness of the Most High, so we can make it. And it says, which with much work, which more than likely has to come from us. We gotta it's work that comes from us that the action is gonna have to take place to be saved. Ain't nobody just gonna kick their feet up and just be saved. Nah, it say with much work, you scarcely gonna make it out. Okay, you can take that down. Um, I think it's lagging on this one screen. Hold on. Here we go. Yeah, so where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? Right. So if the righteous is scarcely going to make it out, imagine those who are not in the correct spirit, not doing what God has told us to do. And guess what? It's going to be scary because we're going to see it. We're living in it right now, and we're going to see it. You're going to see these judgments take place. It says, "Wherefore let them that suffer according to the will." There it is. That's what we spoke of against spoke before in Ephesians, I believe, when we started out. Yeah, it says, "Wherefore let them that suffer according to the will of Yahweh commit to the keeping of their souls to Him in well doing as unto a faithful Creator." And that will, what's that will? The scriptures say, "Present your body as a living sacrifice." It says we're supposed to be dead to this world. The different things that you're supposed to give up. The scriptures say, Paul said, "Well, he dies daily." You're supposed to be working on yourself, not what do you call it? Being a part of this world, not indulging in this world, being set apart. That's the will of the Most High for you. If you want righteousness, that's what we're after. That's what we're chasing after, so we can be counted as righteous to scarcely make it. That's a part of that scarcely, that work to be counted in that will. Um, and look, some of us, Yeshua himself said that some of us might be cast into prison. Some of us might be put to death. But it said, "Be faithful unto death." Let's get an example of great faith in adversity with Job. Job 13, verse 15 through 18.
You said Job 15:13.
13, 15.
Oh,
Backwards, it's cool.
13:15.
Hmm.
Okay, though he slay me, yet will I trust in him, but I will maintain mine own ways before him. He also shall be my salvation, for an hypocrite shall not come before him. Hear diligently my speech and my declaration with your ears. Behold, now I have ordered my cause. I know that I shall be justified.
Right. So, verse 15 said, "Even though he slay me," this is Job speaking, and we know the harsh things that Job had to endure. In which, if people asked if the Most High is fighting against Satan, well, or yeah, Satan, we gotta remember that Most High controls Satan. You could start at the beginning of this book and see the things that came upon Job was ordained by the Most High. He said, "Have you considered my servant Job?" And the hardship. And then later on in the book, this we get to this point, and Job says, "Though he slay me, yet I will trust in him, but I will maintain mine own ways before him." What? Meaning his righteousness, because Job was righteous. We got to maintain whatever comes upon us. We supposed to keep our way, to keep our righteousness before the sight of the Most High. And it says, "He also shall be my salvation, for an hypocrite shall not come before him." So you can't fake your right. You can't fake righteousness. That's being a hypocrite. He going like being lukewarm. You know, you going to act in front of him. Nah, be faithful unto death. You know, you can't be a hypocrite is not going to come before him. He's going to get you. That means you out of here. You counted with those who are wicked. Job said, "Hear diligently my speech and my declaration with your ears." It says, "Behold, I have ordered my cause." It says, "I know." Let me go down here. Hold on real quick. Is that 18? Yeah, I know, and I know that I shall be justified. So he said he knows he'll be justified because why? He's fortified. He's fortified in the word of the Most High. He's walking in the ways, and he's rooted. He's stable. He's like, hey, whatever happens, hey, the Most High can slay me. I'm good. That's the spirit that we got to put on at all times. And does this look like the spirit of well, it is the spirit of fear of the Most High, because he fears the Most High more than whatever he's going through. But it's not fear of whatever situation that he is encountering. You can see here that whatever is brought his way, he is not in fear of that more than he is in fear of the Most High. And that's the most important point that wanted to make here. I think I only got one more passage to go through, unless you want to add something. Um, Revelation. 'Cause, 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 'c Revelation 22. And let's start at 3. We're gonna read I think most of this. Actually the whole thing. Yeah, all the way down. I guess you could start at 1. I mean, we're just going, it's not that deep. Let's start at 1.
Okay. Revelation 22 and 1. And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of Elohim and of the Lamb. In the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river, was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. And there shall be no more curse, but the throne of Elohim and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him. And they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads, and there shall be no night there. And they need no candle, neither light of the sun, for Adonai Yahweh gave them light, and they shall reign forever and ever. And he said unto me, these sayings are faithful and true, that the Master Yahweh of the holy prophets sent his angel to show unto his servants the things which must shortly be done. Behold, I come quickly. Blessed is he that keeps the sayings of the prophecy of this book. And John saw these things and heard them. And when I had heard and seen, I fell down to worship before the feet of the angel which showed me these things. Then said he unto me, see thou do it not, for I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren the prophets, of them which keep the sayings of the book. Worship Elohim. And he said unto me, seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still. And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, and give every man according as his work shall be. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates of the city. For without are dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers and idolaters, and whosoever loves and makes a lie. I, Yeshua, have sent my angel to testify unto these things in the assemblies. I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright and morning star. And the Spirit and the bride say, come, and let him that hears say, come, and let him that is athirst come. And whosoever will, let him take the water of life freely. For I testify unto every man that hears the words of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, Elohim shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. And if any man shall take away from the words of this book of this prophecy, Elohim shall take away his part out of the book of life and out of the holy city and from the things which are written in this book. He which testifies these things says, surely I come quickly. Amen. Even so, come, Master Yeshua. The grace of our Master Yeshua Messiah be with you all. Amen. Yeah. Still there? Hmm. Got some technical difficulties here. There you go. There you go.
Oh, okay, okay. Dang, I was talking and I don't even know. What's the last thing you heard?
After I stopped reading, I couldn't hear you anymore.
Oh, wow. Okay, okay, okay. All right. Okay. Well, yeah, I wanted to go back. Okay, let's start at verse 7 then. Go back to verse 7. Um, he says, "See, I come speedily. Blessed is he who guards the words of the prophecy of this book." We read, talking about guarding his word and knowing the things that this book say. Prophecy only means to say before something happens, all right, before the foretell. And we see that even during the time of Ezra, these things were written before all of our times. So we have the blueprint of what is taking place. It says it, and you're blessed when you guard the words, when you know the words of this, the prophecy of this book. And it says, and I saw and heard the matters. Hold on, I'm in the scriptures version. You're still in the KJV. Okay. Yeah, Yeshua said that. Okay. Yeah, and John saw these things and heard them. And when he had heard them, he said he fell down and worshiped before the feet of the angel who showed these things to me. And that angel said, "See, thou doest not, for I am thy fellow servant." Okay. So the angels serve the Most High, and we also do the serve the Most High. We fellow servants with the angels. It says, "Thy brethren, the prophets, and of them which keep the sayings of this book, worship the Most High Yah." He said, and he saith unto me, "Seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand." So from that time, the prophecies, especially from the time of Revelation, because this is the book that we're in, these revelations were being made clear and manifest. All right. So, but now we're in a time where it can clearly be interpreted, and the Spirit of the Most High is poured out on all flesh for us to now be able to see the prophecies take place and develop and unfold. Because as the scriptures say, the vision is yet for an appointed time. There's a time for everything under the sun. So the things that all the prophets wrote down, they all had a particular uh, time frame that had to be met, conditions that had to take place. That's why we got these convergent points when Yeshua said, when you see this happen, when you see that happen, then you shall know. Then you shall know. All right. It is he that is unjust, let him be unjust still. He which is filthy, let him be filthy still. He that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still. So we coming into a point in the time, like right now, look, we're fishers. She'll say, well, we're fishers of men. So we calling all, it says, he said, bring all who are meet for repentance. Unfortunately, everybody ain't meet for repentance. But that's the call out. That's the fishing that we're doing. But you're gonna have people that is going to continue to stay unjust. Scripture say, let them be unjust. It gets to a point where the Most High knows who is His. Messiah knows who is His and who His ain't. All you could do is do your part. All right. It says, "Behold, I come quickly. My reward is with me to give every man according to his work shall be." So there's a work that every man should be doing. There's a work. There's no kicking your feet up, and there's nothing. You going right to the kingdom, as we were saying before. The righteous shall scarcely make it in. Scarcely. When we said also, it was with work. Verse 14. Blessed are they that do His commandments. So you gotta do it. He told us. He made what the Passover memorial. The Passover's coming up. Passover's coming up. Then other high holy days after that. We're in the Shabbat right now. We're supposed to be keeping the Shabbat. It said, remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. These are the things that go in line with blessed are they that do His commandments. It says that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter into the gates of the city. Because in that city, there's going to be rules and regulations and laws. And the rules, regulations, laws are the book, are the law, statutes, and commandments. That's what we're going to be going into. Lord's Prayer, Y'all's Prayer said, um, let 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 it be done in earth as it is in heaven. Right ruling, righteousness, and we know that that's not taking place in the majority of this world. That's why we are supposed to be set apart and exercise. It says in Judges 5:11, exercise and rehearsing the righteous acts. Uh, another main point I want. It says, verse jumping down, verse 18. For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of this prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, Yahweh shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. So, brothers and sisters, anybody who's listening, you got to look out for people who add things to the book that's not there. Give you dates. That's one thing I always try to refrain from is dates. And we had 2012, we had 22 year 2000, and you had these different dates that people would put out and say that the Messiah's coming back, and we don't know the time or the hour. He said that he's gonna come like a thief. He said if he wasn't gonna come like a thief, then you wouldn't. If you knew when he was coming, you would know when to act right. You would know when to lock your door. You had that time to act like you was being righteous. Even though that's gonna be a hypocrite. He know all that to do that, but he gonna come at the least moment's notice. So that way you gotta constantly be enduring, constantly be pushing for righteousness in your spirit and in your walk. It says in any man, it says, and Yahweh shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. And we see what's the plague happening right now, this COVID-19. You got people, you got high profile, quote, I don't, whether it's real or not, you got high profile celebrities getting COVID-19. So it's not like it can't touch nobody. Nobody that's noble. The prince over in England, I think he got it. So if that's true, not saying that they add anything to this book, but we're just showing you that, that judgment is here and it's taking place. Um, he which testifieth these things saith, surely I come quickly. Amen. So look, we the thing is we gotta be ready at a moment's notice. This thing can escalate and accelerate on a prophecy basis before we know it. Are we ready? Are we being diligent in the word? Are we working on our spirit and how we are towards one another and acknowledging the Most High? Because He lets us, you know, as the lesson is called, are we being ignorant? Are you ignorant of the will of Yah, of the Most High? We can't be ignorant of things that He told us He was going to do, or the things that He's allowing to happen in the world. Our thing is to just adjust. When the things happen, we adjust. Because if it's all ordained by, oh, okay, well, this is what the Most High is ordaining. Hey, we gotta do an audible here, do an audible there, adjust. So with that, we ain't supposed to have a spirit of fear, and we supposed to be encouraged. And if we doing what we supposed to do, we got that shield, as we spoke of in the book of Psalms, chapter 5, and Psalms 34th chapter. That's where our shield will come from, for that meditation on Him and His Word, and doing what we supposed to do. Because this stuff is it's only gonna get worse from here. This is like a warm up for what we about to see. Just scarcely make it out of here. You got anything you want to add? Am I muted?
Yeah. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, no, I don't have anything to add. That was pretty good. I think that the point was made. I think that we we have to continue to have our fear be you know put in the right direction. If we are striving for maturity, perfection in the Most High, if we're walking in the Spirit and not in the flesh, we can't be afraid of things that are outside of the Most High. We have to understand that He is indeed in control of everything, and when we're in Messiah, when we're in Yeshua, um, you know, what then could be against us? Nothing when we're in Messiah. And so, we just have to continue in the Master, and think about the times that were. Nothing's new under the sun. You know, we saw this before. It's in the book. We saw. I could just imagine being in Egypt and looking outside and seeing a river of blood. You know what I mean? And seeing all those plagues happen. You know what I mean? The animals dying and bugs everywhere, and all the different plagues. I could just imagine it would probably be just like right now when people are like looking at what's going on and like, what is this? I could imagine being around, on that night, and you know, just I think the closest thing that I could think of is when there was that fire across the street. Remember, there's that fire across the street, and the lady that was screaming about her kids outside. They weren't in the house. I'm just saying in terms of her screams for her children because of the fire that was going on in the house. I could just imagine what it was like to be somewhere on Passover night when you put your blood on the doorpost and somebody did it, and their children, them finding their children dead, right? Just imagine what that feels like to know, to see those things going on, and the things become real for you. You know what I mean? In these perilous times. But we just have to remember to keep focused on the master and following after him, and know that what he said is true for us. If we put the blood of Messiah on the doorposts of our hearts, the death angels passing over us. That's what it said. That's our reality. And so even if, like Paul talks about, if we die in Messiah, then we live because we're in the presence of the Father, right? And so it's a win-win situation for us. I know I've talked to people who talk about the end times, and talking about being those ones that talks about in Revelation who are beheaded for Messiah's sake, right? It's a kind of a crazy kind of a thing to think about, but at the end of the day, you were rewarded for dying for Messiah's sake. And so, it's hard to think about those types of things, but we have to think about it.
Ain't no cake, ain't gonna be no cakewalk into it. It's work that has to take place. And as we read with Job, he said, even if he slay me, I'll still trust in him. So it's having that mindset that the days is evil and judgment's happening. So kind of the mindset would be ready for anything. You know what I'm saying? I always say it's a fine line between being ready for anything and being ready for nothing, because ultimately you can't be ready for everything, every situation. You know what I'm saying? But if you're ready, but being ready for nothing, it's like you just have to be able to adjust, and the only thing that can put you in that, get you be prepared for anything, is having that faith and walking in the spirit of the Messiah, because that there's nothing else you got. The scriptures, say that, was that Psalm 91? You walking and 1,000 fall on this side and tens of people die over here and you still up. You know what I'm saying? So that's the mindset we gotta be in. So
Okay, all right, very good.
yeah, all right,
Okay, all right. So, you got anything else for us?
that's about it. Want people just be encouraged and just know that the time, like, yeah, the days and times that we in is of judgment. And if more than anything, there should be increasing our faith and making us be more obedient, because we don't want no parts of the things that's taking place. That's about it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That being said, then we let that just be the last word. Then, uh, all right. So we will say Shabbat Shalom, and y'all willing, we will be back on Shabbat.
All right, Shabbat
Hallelujah.
Shalom. Hallelujah.